is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Hello and thank you for tuning into News9. You're watching In Your Interest with me, Deepak Suresh Kumar. And tonight, viewers, we aren't just talking about a tragic accident. We're talking about a recurring crime committed by those meant to keep our cities safe. We bring you a story that will shake you, not because it is rare, but because it is becoming tragically common. 2 young lives, 2 different cities, 2 open pits, and 2 families destroyed. Just last month, we were mourning the loss of 27-year-old Yuvraj Noida in Noida, who drove his SUV into a massive water-filled pit hidden by fog. And tonight, the tragedy has moved to Delhi's Janakpuri, where another young life, 25-year-old Kamal, has been cut short. He worked as an assistant manager at a private bank in Rohini and was riding his motorcycle home late last night. He lived in Kailashpuri and was the only earning member supporting his family, and he spoke to his twin brother around 11:53 p.m. last night, saying he would be home in 10 minutes, and after that, he went missing. His family grew worried when he did not reach home at the specified time, and they even searched through the night, visiting multiple police stations, some say as many as 6, seeking help. They even alleged that the police did not act quickly enough and that timely phone tracking could have probably saved him. It was only in the morning that his body was found inside a deep pit along with his bike, and the pit was about 15 to 20 feet deep. It had been dug up by the Delhi Jal Board for pipeline or construction work. It was left open without any proper barricades, no reflectors, no warning signs, and the Delhi Jal Board has responded by suspending 3 officials and ordering a high-level probe. The government has also promised strict action, but for Kamal's family, these steps have come too late, and they blame sheer apathy for his death. Let's listen into those responses coming in from his family.
इधर अपने जनकपुरी वाले थाने में आया तो उन्होंने मेरे को उसकी एक लोकेशन निकाल के दी कि इसकी लोकेशन लास्ट यहाँ पे है अवेलेबल। फिर जो अवेलेबल है मैं फिर सामने वाले पार्क में ढूंढते रहा, उन्होंने कहा इस पार्क के अंदर है वो। ये लापरवाही है, हादसा थोड़ी है। मेरा भाई इतना पागल थोड़ी कि सामने चांद उसे गड्ढे में घुसेगा। पर्दे अभी लगाए गए हैं क्योंकि पर्दों में धूल नहीं है। पर्दा सुबह लगाया गया, पीछे वाला पहले से लगा हुआ था। मैंने खुद रात को 1:30 बजे आके गड्ढे में चेक किया था, तब वो नहीं था यहाँ पे। अच्छा, मैं कल पूरी रात से उसको ढूंढ रहा हूँ। कल रात में गड्ढे में नहीं था? गड्ढे में नहीं था, 1:30 बजे के आसपास की बात है, नहीं था। अच्छा, कितने थानों के चक्कर लगाए? कम से कम 6 थानों के चक्कर लगाए हैं, कहीं से कोई सपोर्ट नहीं मिला।
हम 7 लड़के रात के 12 बजे से लेके सुबह के 7 बजे तक यहाँ पे ढूंढते रहे। ना लड़का मिला, ना फोन मिला, ना बाइक मिली। रात को 1 बजे ना इसके अंदर बाइक मिली, ना लड़का था, ना बाइक थी, ना फोन था इस लड़के इसके अंदर। 1 बजे मुझे ये समझ नहीं आ रहा, 1 बजे से 7 बजे तक तो हम इसी रोड पे थे, तो कैसे ये लड़का इस बंदे से गिर गया? और जब लड़का मिला ही नहीं, रात को 7 बजे सुबह 7 बजे हम घर पे गए हैं और हमें फोन आता है पुलिस वालों का लड़के के नंबर से कि आपके लड़के का एक्सीडेंट हो गया। अरे जो फोन आपको सुबह 7 बजे मिल गया, वो फोन आपको रात को क्यों नहीं मिला? रात को 12 बजे से आपके रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे थे हम लोग। यहाँ पे जो सरकारी कैमरे लगे हुए हैं, इसको खुलवा के कम से कम ये तो पता लगवाइए, हमें सच तो पता चले कि लड़का हमारे अपनी गलती से मरा है या किसी ने उसको मार के फेंका है।
जल बोर्ड ने 3 दिन पहले ही सभी सुरक्षा मानकों के ऑडिट किए थे, सर्कुलर जारी किया था। उसके बावजूद बैरिकेड अभी जो अपीयरेंटली दिखता है बैरिकेड्स थे। अगर यहाँ के पुलिस सीसीटीवी जांच रही है, कैसे दुर्घटना हुई उसको जांचने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अगर जांच में ठेकेदार या जल बोर्ड के किसी अधिकारी की कोई भी कमी पाई जाएगी इस साइट पर काम करने में सुरक्षा मानकों का ध्यान रखने के लिए, उनमें से किसी को भी बख्शा नहीं जाएगा।
11:15 बजे के करीब में मृतक ने अपने घर पर बात की थी कि मैं 10 मिनट में घर पहुंच रहा हूं। उसके बाद में वो इस सड़क के ऊपर में, इस लेन के ऊपर में पहुंचे और उस गड्ढे में गिरकर उनके परिवारजनों ने रात को ही पुलिस से संपर्क किया। रात को जनकपुरी पुलिस ने उनके परिवार के साथ में 2-2.5 घंटे तक आसपास में उनकी कॉल रिकॉर्डिंग, कॉल लोकेशन वो देखकर आसपास के पार्कों में, आसपास के क्षेत्र में उनको ढूंढने की कोशिश की। जो भी हुआ बहुत ही दुखद है।
इस सड़क के एक तरफ 8 फुट ऊंची बैरिकेडिंग है, उसके ऊपर वायर लगी हुई है। इस सड़क के दूसरी तरफ भी बैरिकेडिंग है। माइक नीचे कर दीजिए सब लोग यार। और इस सड़क की तीसरी तरफ भी इतनी बड़ी लोहे की बैरिकेडिंग है और इस गड्ढे के उस तरफ भी बैरिकेडिंग है। सीधे तौर पे दिल्ली पुलिस ने क्राइम सीन को फज किया है। क्राइम सीन के अंदर बदलाव करके खुल्लम खुल्ला फर्जीवाड़ा किया, ये सबके सामने है। यहाँ पे बाइक वाला सिर्फ ऊपर से ही कोई हवाई जहाज से उसको फेंक देगा तो ही गिर सकता है। क्या इतने कमीनेपन पर किसी भी विभाग को गिरना चाहिए?
दिल्ली की हालत कर दी है। हर जगह खोद के गड्ढा, बड़े बड़े खोद के बड़े बड़े गड्ढे बना के, और कोई सुरक्षा नहीं रहती, कोई साइन नहीं रहता कि लोग उससे बच सकें। तो ये भी इसी प्रकार का हादसा है। अब क्या होगा? अगर आप देखें तो ये आपराधिक लापरवाही है। मतलब ये एक आपराधिक लापरवाही के कारण की गई हत्या है। इसको उस गंभीरता से लेना चाहिए और जो लोग भी इसके लिए जिम्मेदार हैं उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए।
Now, viewers, in both Noida and Delhi, the patterns are hauntingly identical. Both men were young professionals heading home after work. Both were sole earners for their families, and both of them fell into pits from civic or construction work that had no visible warning signs, no reflective tape, and no proper barricading. But both the incidents happened at night with poor visibility, and in both, the authorities have launched inquiries only after the loss of life. So, big questions that we are asking tonight. Why are officers suspended only after somebody is dead? Why are probes ordered only when a family is already mourning? Can we not prevent these deaths before they happen? How many more lives will be lost before real accountability and preventive action become the norm rather than promises made after the fact? Now, to help us understand and also answer some tough questions, we have Dr. Anil Gupta, spokesperson of the BJP, Shivam Bhagat, spokesperson of the Congress, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, former Urban Secretary, Government of India and Chairman, Smart Cities Technical Committee. We also have AP Bahadur, former Chief Engineer, Ministry of Road and Transport. My first question is to Dr. Anil Gupta. Dr. Anil Gupta, a very good evening to you. Please explain to us why this has happened in Delhi, why weren't preventive measures put in place? Why does it happen such that, the government wakes up only after a life is lost? And this is not just in Delhi. This happened in Noida as well, and you're well aware. So what is the justification, sir? Because the family is mourning and only engineers have been suspended. What about the MCD staffers and all those under construction workers who are involved in this, not barricading this particular pit, the death trap that we're talking about?
It is a very sad incident, very unfortunate. I'm very sorry for the loss of life. It should not have happened. Delhi Jal Board Chief Executive Officer, after the Noida incident, took meeting on 24th of January, made a strict circular to all the concerned executive engineers to take preventive measures to have the proper fencing, proper barricading of all these things. But in spite of this has happened. And you are right, that it should not have happened. It is very unfortunate. Already 2 ministers of the Delhi government have visited. Our local MLA is in touch. And also one of the relative has mentioned about some foul play system also. Police is investigating. 3 officers have been suspended, but mere suspension will not fulfill this thing. This I must admit. And proper inquiry is being conducted. We hope to receive.
Sir, but the police must also be pulled up because of dereliction of duty. Because the family members, you heard them. They have approached at least 6 police stations in the dead of the night, looking for their family member, and one after the other, the police stations just, passed the buck. They didn't even take their complaint. The location and the phone number that was sent to one of the police inspectors allegedly was deleted on WhatsApp message.
Yes, sir. Whosoever is responsible, whether it is the negligence, it is the insensitiveness, whatever is the reason, I think government will be taking very strict action. Preliminary action have been taken, and it is very much unfortunate. I'm not sitting here to defend all these things, but I am feeling very sorry. Sorry for this loss of life. And after the Noida incident, the whole machinery, I must admit, whole machinery was taking precautionary measures. I received that this was digged yesterday only. Why no barricading was there? Plus, I must also say that one of the relative I have heard from your channel that he said maybe some other foul play may be there. Police is investigating. Let's have confidence on the police. But nothing will compromise, nothing will compensate the loss of life. And for future prevention, we must learn lesson. And all the employees of the Delhi Jail Board, the officers, whosoever is responsible, the strict action, already minister have told, 3 people have been suspended, but they are the beginning. I think after the police inquiry and the department inquiry, more should be punished for this.
Right, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, this is not an accident, and neither is the Noida case an accident. Both of them, do you think, is the failure of urban governance?
Well, it is a failure of urban governance, no doubt. But we have to understand that in Delhi, the governance is a very complicated structure. It is not a normal state. So here, the state government and central government, they have also almost equal role in many ways. Now, in such matters, for example, the police is under the central government, and then the jail board is under the state government. And the two, we talk of politics and so on. I think it is the whole framework is wrong, whether this a party or that party. That is not the issue. Issue is, that is one. Secondly, the culture of governance, it is deteriorating day after day, year after year. Now, the officers are responsible for many things. Whatever we have seen here, by merely issuing circular, the CEO of DJB cannot be exonerated. You see, circulars are issued every day. One circular is issued, I think, on an average. So therefore, subordinate staff get immune to circulars. So the officers have to move around. You hardly find officers going around inspecting things. Those days are gone. Now everything is on WhatsApp and on YouTube and on Facebook and so on and so forth. But the officers have stopped moving around. So that is the second part. And third part is, in other channel I had appeared, and I think one of the panelists was also there, and I had mentioned that, you see, rules are very clear. It is dereliction of duty and it is also crime. So for dereliction of duty under the conduct rule of the government servants, there is a penalty of variety of things. But and the very first action under that is to place under suspension, which has to be done. Now, not only executive engineer, the senior officers also, number one. Under the criminal laws also. Under the criminal laws, any negligence leading to grievous injury or death, it is a serious crime under 106 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. So the action has to start right away. And lastly, I would say that look at the behavior of the police. You have mentioned, but normally I find the police is filing complaint against the engineer, all right, or contractor. What about police filing complaint against the police itself? For example, they did not share location with the family members. They shared the location and deleted immediately. Before, you would have done great service. They were duty bound to facilitate location of the person who is missing, and they had the wherewithal. If they are not willing to share the location, neither they are searching, then is it not dereliction of duty? So I would say that there is no dearth of law, there is no dearth of provisions of law. It is a question of mindset to put people first. Otherwise, things will go on happening. We don't need any more laws. Very clear-cut laws are there. And lastly, I would say, since morning we are talking in the evening, I don't think so much inquiry of days together is required, at least to suspend officers, senior officers. Enough time. Suppose morning we were discussing at 8 a.m. I can understand. We are discussing at 8 p.m. enough thing can be checked out. You see, barricading doesn't mean light barricading. Barricading in the night means that you cannot go. It is not that you put a signage which cannot be read.
Sir, if it was in the broad daylight, a person would have easily identified that there is a pit and he would have avoided taking that path. But this has happened in the dead of the night, almost midnight, when, you can't really see anything on the road, especially if it's not well lit. And in this case, there were no barricades, there were no reflectors. So, Shivam Bhagat, this is not just a problem of BJP ruled states. This has happened even in Bangalore as well. Even Bengaluru just today, a class 1 student slipped and fell inside a ditch. So why aren't political parties taking such civic issues very seriously, especially when their own voters are losing their lives?
Good evening. It's heartbreaking and deeply disturbing that the value of human life, as it doesn't matter anymore, and young lives are being lost. It just happened, as you said, and as everyone knows, and it shook the nation that young Yuvraj, a 27-year-old techie, who fell into a ditch or whatever it was without any barricading. It shook the nation's conscience, and we said that we will make changes and we will look into it. But another 2 weeks later, another man, another young boy actually, a 25-year-old boy, and another young boy has lost his life. His family is shattered because their Delhi Jal Board could not put a barricade. I mean, look at their budgets. It's in thousands of crores. Where is that money going? Because there is no value of human life. Because every 2 weeks something happens. Every week, in fact, something happens. And the official figures are that in the last financial year itself, 89 deaths happened due to waterlogging and potholes and similar situations in the national capital. Now, today we are talking about Delhi, wherever it happens, Bangalore, any state it happens, it's absolutely terrible. But today we are talking about Delhi. Delhi has a triple engine sarkar, which came with a lot of bluff and bluster. And that government, it was bad enough that the air pollution is taking a decade of our life. Literally a decade of our lives is getting lost. Lakhs of children are getting respiratory diseases. That wasn't bad enough for this government that they cannot put a barricade around a pit. I mean, this is criminal negligence. And what is suspending 3 DJB employees? It's just a hogwash. It's an eyewash. कि भैया दिखा दो कि 3 suspend हो गए, खत्म, हमारी responsibility is over. There should be criminal action against these employees to make an example out of them. There should be FIRs against these employees and against most government employees, by the way. What is happening in Delhi in most departments today? Corruption is at an all-time high. You go to DDA, you go to MCD, and I'm talking about personal experience also. You go to DDA, you go to MCD, you go to DJB. Corruption, all they ask is for money. I mean, everyone is blinded by money and there is no accountability. Why should the MLA of Janakpuri, who was also a minister in the Delhi government, not resign? Why should the chief minister not come out and take accountability? Instead of making comical statements all the time, she could not fix the air pollution despite all this bluster of theirs in the last year or so. Why can't she come out and do a press conference and say that we are accountable, we are sorry, and we will make sure that every drain is barricaded within the next week. In Delhi, there you will not see one drain without a barricade. Why can't she come out? This government is an absolute failure and there is no accountability in this government. And it's a very
And when they speak about accountability, only engineers are suspended. The dereliction of duty of police.
It's an hogwash. It's a hogwash.
The authorities responsible above the engineer, all of them are ignored. Now, AP
the
Bahadur,
minister should resign, I feel.
Well, that is something that the BJP will decide. But let me, go across to AP Bahadur because he was a former chief engineer with the Ministry of Road and Transport. Sir, what kind of violations are we seeing here? Because there were no reflectors, no barricades, no warning signs. These are nothing but criminal and murderous lapses. What should have happened? But what are the negligence? What are the points that you would like to raise about negligence in this particular case?
You see, it's a sheer carelessness on part of all those involved in this, including I would rather blame the officer in charge, because contractor's performance depends largely upon the attitude and interest that the officer shows. Now, in this particular case, because we are discussing this case, but let me assure you, it is many cases all around the country, and we have now highest fatalities among all the countries in the world. I mean, that is something we should be ashamed of. And these are the reasons. Now, you see this case, and similarly the Noida case. Noida case, let us first talk about Noida case. The road there, as I can see in the newspaper item, was a 90-degree turn. Obviously, it's a clear spot of possibility of the accident. It is a established fact that the roads are made or rather developed in the manner that even if the user is commit some mistakes, he is not penalized. That's why we talk about the forgiving highways or forgiving roads. So there should have been, first of all, we still have this attitude of road being means flag topped only. We do not have proper signs, markings. At that particular location, there should have been a proper sign and marking, especially for the night time. Here in this case, in Janakpuri case, it is really surprising and rather height of carelessness on part of the engineer and the Jal board and the contractor also, that such a deep ditch is there and there is no barricading. As a matter of fact, there should have been a concrete barricading, what is called the New Jersey barriers, totally barricaded so that there is absolutely no possibility of any vehicle going into that. And I do not know the how far this was from the side or the road, but obviously, as the practice is, it should have been very adjacent to the carriageway where the vehicles are moving. So even if the slightest oversight on part of the user, this can happen, and this will keep on happening because unless we set up an example and suspend and take penal action against the high officers, the things are not going to trickle down. Although the Motor Vehicles Act now provides for the penalty if it is found that the accident or fatalities have happened because of the on part of the contractor or officer not following the standards. There are standards, no doubt about it. There are laws also. Indian Roads Congress has come out, has been there for quite some time. But I'm sorry to say that I'm yet to find even a semblance of those barricading systems on our roads wherever especially the construction work is going on. So
sir,
it's
very simple. Politicians want only votes. They want to be in power, but they don't want to be accountable for any issues of the people. The standard that you were talking about is set like this, by leaving open pits, by leaving 90-degree turns without any warning signs. So, Dr. Anil Gupta, I want to ask you this. Should leaving a pit open be treated as a criminal negligence, yes or no?
Yeah, definitely it is.
So, if it is a criminal negligence case, will you prosecute officials of the highest order, or only junior engineers will be suspended as an eyewash? Because
Definitely,
even in the Noida case, this is what exactly happened, and both of them are happening in BJP ruled states, sir. And both of them happened within a time frame of just 30 days. Less than that, in fact.
Yeah. Definitely, it is a negligence. It is a criminal negligence, I admit. Already, police is investigating. The department is investigating.
So, the police themselves are the culprits here because they delayed.
Allow me to reply, sir, please.
Yeah.
I am saying it is a shocking incident. It is a sad incident. A life has been lost. And it is a criminal negligence. Ultimately, the law enforcement agency will work. The police will work. The department will work. Whosoever, right from the top to the bottom, who is accountable should be punished. This is my statement. Further, I don't want to make a political statement, but we are very well aware that in 2024, more than 100 people died because of the waterlogging. It is also fact. My fellow Pravakta has mentioned of the air pollution. For last 10 years under the Kejriwal, they could not do anything. Every year, the Delhi got the tag of red letter of the history, wherein AQI crossing 999. Rekha Gupta government is working very hard. We got so much problem in the legacy. But we compare to this incident, it is a shocking, I am admitting. Any lapse is done, it is an admit, it is visible in front of your screen, and strict action will be taken, is going to be taken, I must say. And this incident should not be repeated. You know, after the Noida incident, the meeting was held, the CEO wrote, CEO went, but
sir, but you know what is the shocking fact? Meetings were held, like you clearly mentioned, meetings were held within the MCD, taking in, into cognizance about what happened in Noida.
CEO of the Delhi
meetings,
board.
yeah, CEO held a meeting, but after the meeting, what did they do? They did not put barricades. So clearly, that meeting was nothing but a failure. It failed its own people. It failed the voters of Delhi who brought you to power, only to let them die, because this is the sad reality of today's day. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. But Dr. Anil Gupta, Shivam Bhagat, Dr. Sudhir Krishna and AP Bahadur, thank you for joining us on this debate. With that, viewers, we'll slip into a short break, but we'll be right back.
पापा इसमें क्या है?
इसमें देश है बेटा।
कितनी सड़कें, कितने पुल, कितने बांध, कितनी नदियां, कितनी सदियां, कितना आसमान अपनी गोद में लेके जा रही है ये। कितनी रोटियां, कितने खेत, भरे हुए कितने पेट, देखो कितना बड़ा अपना देश अपनी गोद में लेके जा रही है ये। ये जो अपनी गाड़ी है, इस पे भारत आगे बढ़ता है। हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, देश आगे बढ़ेगा। टाटा मोटर्स कमर्शियल व्हीकल्स, बेटर ऑलवेज।
रश्मि, ये मैडम बड़े शहर से छोटे शहर बसने जा रही है, बताओ। छोटे छोटे शहरों में ही तो है बड़े बड़े अखाड़े। नए नए दावपेच सीखेगी और फ्यूचर में मेडल जीतेगी। पर बेटा, इनका फ्यूचर?
बड़े पापा, SBI लाइफ से इनका फ्यूचर सिक्योर है।
अभी तो इसकी जीत का इरादा पक्का है। करो पूरे अपने इरादे, अपनों से किए सभी वादे। SBI लाइफ अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए।
घर है वही जहाँ सब संग हो, रिश्तों को रंग दो, दुनिया को रंग दो।
बिरला ओपस पेंट्स।
इम्तियाज जी के फादर को बीमारी के कारण अचानक हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट होना पड़ा। पॉलिसी बाजार की टीम ने हॉस्पिटल पहुंचकर लाखों का क्लेम अप्रूव करवाने में पूरी हेल्प की। पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
Every champion's journey starts with second thoughts.
क्या हुआ?
Till they see it's possible and there is someone who truly believes in them.
एक दिन बहुत बड़ा आदमी बनना है ना?
Orchids, the international school, raising 85,000 champions across India.
Welcome back, viewers. India wins the Under-19 Cricket World Cup, defeated England by 100 runs in the final, and this is the 6th time that they are lifting up the Under-19 World Cup crown. And India has clinched a record-extending 6th ICC Under-19 World Cup title. The Indian Colts have put on a commanding performance, defeating England Under-19 team by 100 runs, a whopping 100 runs. England had been chasing their first title since 1998, but it was India's day at the Harare Sports Club. Opting to bat first, India posted a world record 411 for 9, all thanks to Vaibhav Suryawanshi's 175. What a knock by the under-15 player. And in fact, the innings began with a setback as the hero of their semi-final chase against Afghanistan was dismissed cheaply. Then came Vaibhav Suryawanshi, who turned the match on its head. In a trademark style, he unleashed a flurry of boundaries, 15 fours and 15 sixes, amassing 150 runs out of his 175 purely in boundaries. And his assault put India firmly back in control. Captain Ayush Matre played a crucial supporting role, putting together a 140-run partnership. In fact, we also have Shekhar Vijayan, sports commentator, and Mahavir Rawat, senior sports journalist, joining us live on this broadcast. A very good evening to you, gentlemen. Shekhar Vijayan, how do you look at India under-19's victory? Boys have brought it home once again.
Absolutely, Deepak. It's nice to have you over and nice to be with you when you're talking about something which we all like and love, which is cricket. I think it's so nice to see India playing so well. I think you know what I really like about this team, under-19 team and even the Indian team, is they're very explosive. There is a lot of confidence they display, you know, right from ball one. They just go for the kill. They just go on attacking. And that's showing in the results also. And more than anything else, I think the talent which we have is unquestionable. But more than anything else, it's the maturity they're showing at critical times, about winning, about trying to, you know, come in from critical junctures and building partnerships also. So this augurs very well for the future. And it's nice to see the Indian under-19 team winning this World Cup. More than that, even today, the RCB team also won the WPL, which is so good, and the women's team also. So I think victories all around, Deepak. And now with the World Cup also starting, tomorrow, I think it's going to be quite exciting next couple of months.
Mahavir Rawatji, this is a morale booster, and it's a much important booster for the seniors because their T20 World Cup is starting tomorrow. Their match will start. The match is with the United States. That's the opening match, and India will be looking to defend its title. But what do you think about Vaibhav Suryavanshi? Because he has everybody's attention. 175. That's unbelievable for a man of his age at that platform to perform. That's huge.
The confidence that these youngsters have today. He was playing his first match for Rajasthan Royals in IPL. First ball of his career, he played and he hit it a 6-over extra cover. I mean, that's IPL, the biggest stage. I mean, I know it's under-19 World Cup, but when you play IPL, you are fighting with the top players of not only this country, but also from apart from the world. And these are not those under-19 players when you play in IPL. First ball that he played in his life, in an IPL, in a high-profile match, he hit it over 6. So just that's the confidence that these youngsters of today are there. That's the self-belief that they have. That's the training that they have. That's the infrastructure. Hats off to the BCCI for nurturing these players in an environment which is superb for cricket. And it's just so nice to see these boys not only winning, but they just won it by 100 runs. And 100 runs is a big margin in a test match. In ODI, it's again a very, very big margin. And hats off to Vaibhav Suryavanshi. I mean, he's a generational talent and India should be very lucky. You know, after Sunil Gavaskar, we said who would come. Then came Sachin Tendulkar. After Sachin Tendulkar, you know, people like us said, yeah, ab cricket mein maza nahi hai. Then came Virat Kohli and changed everything. So I am not putting Suryavanshi in that same league because he has so much to achieve right now. But if his mind is on the right track and if his focus is there, I mean, we have a generation player among us who would just keep entertaining Indians for next.
That's right. And this is a
years.
clear example of how when talent, opportunity and effort meet, they produce a byproduct, and that is visible on our screens, and that's the India Under-19 World Cup champion banner that we want to see. Kudos to the team. But it's time for us to move on to another pressing story, viewers, because Pakistan is back at it again. Shekhar Vijayan and Mahavir Rawatji, stay on with us as we move on to this important debate that we've lined up for you all. Viewers, the countdown is on for the biggest match of the T20 World Cup, India versus Pakistan in Colombo. But instead of cricketing excitement, we are seeing pressure politics and back-channel arm twisting. Pakistan is once again trying to use cricket as leverage. Sources say the ICC is in constant touch with Pakistan Cricket Board after a directive from Islamabad asking the team to boycott the February 15th clash. And this is not a sporting call, viewers. This is pure political pressure entering international cricket. The PCB has not formally written to the ICC, but the message is clear: meet our demands or we walk out. This is the drama that Pakistan is playing, and the ICC is being pushed to find a so-called mutually acceptable solution. So what this translates to is that Pakistan wants more money. ICC Deputy Chair Imran Khwaja is at the center of these talks, speaking to PCB Chairman Mohsin Naqvi and other senior officials. Pakistan believes it has leverage because India versus Pakistan is the world cricket's biggest money spinner. And sources indicate that Pakistan is pressing for a higher share of ICC revenues and possible compensation linked to Bangladesh cricket. All this while Pakistan stands before the IMF with a begging bowl for loans. An economy under stress now trying to strong-arm world cricket to plug its financial gaps. Sri Lanka cricket has warned that cancelling this match will cause huge financial losses and hurt tourism. Remember, Sri Lanka once stood by Pakistan after a deadly blast in Islamabad, and that goodwill now appears forgotten. The ICC knows Pakistan's demands cannot be fully met, but even partial concessions would set a dangerous precedent. Cricket cannot become a bargaining tool, viewers. So tonight we ask, should ICC bow to boycott threats? Should world cricket reward pressure politics like what Pakistan is doing? Or is Pakistan once again holding the game hostage to fill its begging bowl? Shekhar Vijayan and Mahavir Rawat continue to stay on with us. Shekhar Vijayan, this is Pakistan's cheap tactics once again being played out, and they are threatening the ICC, saying that you meet our demands or we walk out.
This is what Pakistan does and what they've been doing for the last 1 month, right, Deepak? And I think this is quite serious. The way Pakistan is doing this, it seems quite. They're just not taking a decision, and they're trying to arm twist the ICC. They're trying to, they have some leverage here because whether we like it or not, an India-Pakistan game draws in a lot of money. More than that, there are a lot of other departments which get influenced. Tourism, commentary, venues, people coming in, to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is going to get hit really badly by this. And it goes without saying that, Pakistan is being very selfish here. They're just thinking about, how they can, throw India under the bus. Not just India under the bus. They're throwing all the other countries under the bus also. It's not just, Deepak, this is not just about Pakistan, India. This is going to hit all the countries in the World Cup because everybody gets a share in the revenue. And if Pakistan does not play, it hits everybody hard. Everybody gets a trickle-down effect. Pakistan really needs to think about what do they do after the World Cup. The World Cup is a very short-term thing. And after the World Cup, will anybody want to play with them? Will anybody want to engage with them? What is their credibility like? They've learned it. I think Bangladesh has learned it in a very hard way. What has really happened to them? I don't think even Bangladesh supports Pakistan here. Pakistan came in to try to support Bangladesh, and then things went wrong. Both Pakistan and Bangladesh now under the bus, I would say. And they, whenever, I think somewhere if you're using politics as a bargaining tool, if you're using cricket as a bargaining tool, then you're not really playing sports. You're playing games of a different level altogether, which is quite. No,
Pakistan
scary.
is gambling with the wrong entity, Shekhar. They can't strong arm ICC into their cheap tactics, saying that meet our demands or we'll walk out. What is this? Are they in school or what? And Mahavir Rawatji, this is not about principles. This is clearly about Pakistan's empty coffers. They want some money and they think that India versus Pakistan will give them the right leverage to get that. Do you think that this is right on Pakistan's part? Because it's definitely not, according to me.
Look, I mean, we may have different opinions about this, but one thing is for that now the world has seen that ICC is what United Nations was to the country. ICC is to what cricket is, and ICC does not have. And this is what the message has been going to all the countries. They may say it, they may not say it, that ICC is a toothless tiger which is playing into the hands of BCCI. Now, look, now let's also give Pakistan an independence or to take a decisions. Now, if they have taken a decision not to play India, you cannot force them to come and play with us by putting them sanctions. There could have been another ways. There could have been another, dialogues happening. What's the reason? Because the security had already given the clearance, and I totally agree. You cannot put anything hostage. But just not long back, Pakistan was a host to Asia Cup, and India refused to go to Pakistan. Pakistan played all their being a host. Pakistan played their own games in UAE. So how fair was that to Pakistan? So let's not, if there is a rule that 2 + 2 = 4, so that 2 + 2 = 4 is equal to all the countries. You can just imagine, and I am asking a question to you, that if India had told this, that okay, I don't want to play in Australia or I don't want to play in a country, would ICC have dared to ban India? Or would ICC have used the same language that they are using against Pakistan? I am not saying that it is BCCI versus ICC is supposed to be a neutral body. You cannot use those. So what I am saying is that Pakistan is definitely arm twisting because they know that they have the leverage, but because we have put cricket into a stage where entire money, and I know for sure that sponsors have started backing out, and ICC has also started softening its tone towards Pakistan. They are trying a middle way because the sponsors are coming out. And what do you think Namibia, Italy, UAE, these are the countries. I mean, tomorrow, I guess, is the first match of India, and no one even knows or cares. I mean, is this the World Cup that we are waiting for? So, I know that it may sound very bad, but there are only 4 or 5 countries which play cricket. The role of ICC is to spread cricket across the world. You cannot spread across the world by banning 2 teams or not playing in the World Cup. So, my take is that ICC has miserably failed in its duties, and it's a big loss to Pakistan, but if Pakistan does not play cricket in next 10 years, it's going to be a bigger loss to the world of cricket.
But Shekhar, you know what? Sri Lanka will also face another big loss because if Pakistan doesn't play the match, Sri Lanka will pay the price because its tourism will go for a toss. All the tickets that have been booked for this high voltage game will be cancelled. Fans will be forced to go out. So why should Sri Lanka pay the price for Pakistan's politics? And Shekhar, let's also remind our viewers that Sri Lanka had once backed Pakistan, when it actually needed it.
Absolutely. Deepak, Sri Lanka had been to Pakistan. And we all know about that happened in Pakistan when Sri Lanka went and one of the players got injured. And in spite of that, they still wanted to have tours with Pakistan in the past. So Sri Lanka has done whatever they can because the board was obviously in need of finance and money, and they had to go to Pakistan. But here the situation is different. Here I think Pakistan has become a little more selfish. They're a little concerned only about them. They're not really concerned about the other nations. I think their mindset is my way or the highway, right? And they're being very impulsive about this. They don't understand that they will end up losing credibility. They will end up losing finance. They will end up having sanctions. Nobody is going to trust them in the future anymore. Yes, what ICC is doing or what BCCI is different. But here you're talking about the World Cup, people. At the end of the day, the players are going to be hit the most. The players would need the World Cup to express their talent. Otherwise, how else would you know how capable are the players? I think any player would look at the World Cup as an opportunity to showcase their talent and by which they could, play in the future. Here they don't get a chance because the Pakistani players don't know whether they're coming or going. And with Sri Lanka, one really feels for them because this is a country which has just come out of an economic crisis in the last couple of years. And now again, they go back. If the match does not happen, it's not just about the cricket anymore here, Deepak. There are so many other items in the food chain. We're talking about, logistics. We're talking about travel bookings. We're talking about hotels. We're talking about tourism. We're talking about plane tickets. So much gets affected. It's not always about the cricket. Yes, Pakistan, India, when they play are big ticket items. But the domino effect for that is the other countries which get affected. And Sri Lanka is going to get affected by this if Pakistan does not play.
And Mahavir Rawat, since you don't like how ICC has responded or reacted in this particular case, what happens if ICC caves in? Will it set another dangerous precedent for cricket? That anybody who has leverage can come milk ICC for funds?
I would like to add one more thing to you. You said that Sri Lanka played in Pakistan, even one of their players, and I know that it was Samarvira who got shot in the leg. But Bangladesh, how many times has Bangladesh supported India? When there was a voting in ICC, Bangladesh was one vote that India always thought that is in its pocket. We always started with 2 votes in any of the ICC or ACC meetings because Bangladesh had always supported us. So let's not get into those past things, who was with whom, why was with whom. So because your interests keep changing, the government keeps changing, who is ruling your country.
Mahavir Rawatji, it's not just about Bangladesh helping India, but India has helped Bangladesh more than Bangladesh can even think of right now. And the Bangladesh that we're seeing right now is a very, very different Bangladesh that you're talking about. Because at that time, there were no free pass given to radical Islamists who went on a killing spree, especially against one particular community. So let's not talk about the Bangladesh that is there today and the Bangladesh that was there probably a year
They
back.
have made a decision, so they will only make the decisions according to their government, right? If Pakistan's prime minister is saying that Pakistan will not play, if Bangladesh's head of the country is saying that they will not play, I mean, it's not cricket.
You know what? This is brought upon Pakistan by itself, and such pressure tactics will not really help bend the rules of international cricket. Thank you, Shekhar Vijayan and Mahavir Rawat, for joining us with your perspectives. With that, viewers, it's a wrap on this edition of In Your Interest. Thank you for watching and have a great night.
पापा इसमें क्या है?
इसमें देश है बेटा।
कितनी सड़कें, कितने पुल, कितने बांध, कितनी नदियां, कितनी सदियां, कितना आसमान अपनी गोद में लेके जा रही है ये। कितनी रोटियां, कितने खेत, भरे हुए कितने पेट, देखो कितना बड़ा अपना देश अपनी गोद में लेके जा रही है ये। ये जो अपनी गाड़ी है, इस पे भारत आगे बढ़ता है। हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, देश आगे बढ़ेगा। टाटा मोटर्स कमर्शियल व्हीकल्स, बेटर ऑलवेज।
जब 25 साल के प्रत्युष का किडनी का ऑपरेशन हुआ तो पॉलिसी बाजार की टीम ने हॉस्पिटल पहुंचकर 12 लाख का क्लेम अप्रूव करवाने में पूरी हेल्प की। पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Good afternoon, hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. You're watching The Global Lens and I'm Samya Kapoor. Now, Lieutenant General Vladimir Alexiev, a senior Russian officer, was rushed to hospital after being shot in Moscow today. Alexiev is the Deputy Chief of the Main Directorate of the General Staff at the Defense Ministry. He was shot several times at a residential building in northwest Moscow by an unknown assailant who fled the scene. Alexiev was one of the top officials who was sent to negotiate with the mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin, who staged a short-lived mutiny in June 2023. Several senior Russian officers have been assassinated since the start of the war in Ukraine. The most recent officer to be killed was the head of the General Staff's Army Training Directorate, Lieutenant General Fanil Sarvavor, who was killed by a bomb under his car on 22nd December. Well, that is the big story that we are beginning Global Lens with, where Lieutenant General Vladimir Alexiev, a senior Russian officer, was rushed to the hospital after being shot in Moscow today. Alexiev, remember, is the Deputy Chief of the Main Directorate of the General Staff at the Defense Ministry. He was shot several times at a residential building in northwest Moscow by an unknown assailant who fled the scene. Now, Alexiev was one of the top officials who was sent to negotiate with mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin, who staged a short-lived mutiny in June 2023. Several senior Russian officers have also been assassinated in the past since the start of the war in Ukraine. The most recent officer to be killed was the head of the General Staff's Army Training Directorate, Lieutenant General Fanil Sarvavarov, who was killed by a bomb under his car on 22nd December. Now, ahead of the general elections in Bangladesh scheduled this month, Yunus-led interim government is all set for a secret tariff agreement with the United States. The timing and the deal's lack of transparency has led to widespread concerns. And due to non-disclosure agreements signed between the two nations, all aspects of the proposed deal remains confidential. Sharp questions are now being raised about the democratic mandate and transparency, given that the interim government is expected to step aside after the polls. The deal was signed a week after President Trump announced its trade deal with India, leading to tariff reduction to 18%. A female reporter, a public humiliation, and a pattern that refuses to fade. It was a routine press conference at the White House until it wasn't. A CNN reporter asked Donald Trump about the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. The response wasn't about justice. It wasn't about accountability. It was an attack. Donald Trump answered, and I quote, "You are the worst reporter. CNN has no ratings because of people like you."
Mr. President, today we heard that the Clintons set deposition dates to testify before the House Oversight Committee. Any reaction to that and related to the Epstein?
I think it's a shame, to be honest. I always liked him. Her, yeah, she's a very capable woman. She was better in debating than some of the other people, I will tell you that. She was smart woman. I hate to see it in many ways. I hate to see it. But, then I look at me. They went after me like... they wanted me to go to jail for the rest of my life. Then it turned out I was innocent, very innocent. And so they tried to put me in jail. And I shouldn't feel this way, but I feel badly that they have to go through that. But then I say, but they did far worse than me. They wanted to put me in jail.
This wasn't an isolated moment. Donald Trump's clashes with journalists, particularly female journalists, stretch back years. CNN's Caitlin Collins becomes the latest target. After questioning Trump on the Epstein, the questions are legitimate, but the responses are not. Now, US President Donald Trump on Thursday rejected an offer from his Russian counterpart to voluntarily extend the caps on strategic nuclear weapons deployment after the treaty that held him in check for more than 2 decades expired.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday rejected an offer from Russian President Vladimir Putin to voluntarily extend the New START nuclear arms control treaty. The agreement, which caps the number of deployed strategic warheads at 1,550 on each side, was signed in